that is how you enter the realm of channeling. And that pure source information will be realized instantaneously. But the old expression, be careful what you wish for. Let it echo. Let it saturate. Let it ripple. How beautiful that chi. How perfect the mother of all things. The way that can't be walked is not the way. The way that can be walked is not the way. All things realized Welcome to the consciousness of the way. My divine, delectable co-host, High Priestess Jade.
Hello, friend.
Hello, dear friend. And I'm your humble servant at Sifu, Taoist Master San Qing.
It's good to be here.
It is good to be here. It's good to be us.
It's good to be us.
I don't like to speak for you, but you are me and I am you.
Mm-hmm.
What another incredible day in paradise. The rippling effects of processing your reality.
Mm-hmm.
What is limited, what is not. We most recently had a very small event. There was quite a few people that RSVP'd but did not attend for whatever reason. For them next time.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a very exciting time when you can access direct source. I speak on your ability to open that higher state of consciousness. You know, transmit, transcribe, realize. It's all how you perceive it. You know, people find it a little bit less intimidating when they define it within tarot cards, pendulums, there's tuning forks.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have an even more refined messaging between a medium, a psychic, and of course, you know, a channel or just being of your highest consciousness, realizing all thoughts of your mind are not yours, which is a very overlooked realization.
And we're all just a vessel. This human body is just a vessel. Just like a cell phone is a vessel transmitting information, messages, frequencies all the time. Itself is just a vessel, is what we are as well.
Yeah, people's misconception about direct source information and channeling really comes down to understanding their only limitation, and when they get themselves in a little bit of a predicament, is when they operate in a duality.
Mm-hmm.
So that duality creates very much a limitation. And that limitation is what generates a rippling effect, because this is the biggest downfall and hump that people get into when they go down the slippery path of karmic behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Because karma in of itself is hinged and completely predicated on you. And that's the biggest misconception. So when you sit in your ivory tower looking down upon thee, and you have this very limited viewpoint operating in a duality, standing by, living by, replicating what you believe is your own, judgment, which in turn you identify as your personality, you have already generated a very limited experience. So you are staying in this place of heaven and hell, good and bad, black and white, up and down. And that's completely okay. It just needs to be refined and identified with. And when you realize that, then now we're off to the races. Now we can start to really absorb and create some incredible realizations. On a daily basis, I'm always dealing with spirits and energies. It's almost like, how do I put it? You get your friends just come over without calling, or, they just feel like they want to pick up the phone and harass you, text, phone calls, or just turn up on your doorstep. In most cases, it's turn up on the doorstep for myself. And you kind of get in a situation where you can wait your turn. In some cases, I won't even give them the attention. But there are an infinite amount of spirits and energies. Infinite. And when people start to understand this, they can get a better grasp of what they're really perceiving, what they're really receiving, and what they are actually doing with that information.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's just like a relationship, and what type of relationship do you want to have? I mean, there's plenty of relationships that are very toxic, that bring out the worst in you, bring out, your personality self, bring out those, all the things you dislike about yourself, they enhance it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's relationships that are kind of neutral, where it's like, it's not good, but it's not bad, it's just an acquaintance. Then you have a relationship where it brings out the best in you. It's uplifting, it's empowering, it's motivating, it's inspirational. And all of these kind of spirit and energies are very similar to how we perceive relationships. And they can be that way depending on, like you said, your perception of duality, what you want to bring in, what you're bringing in. And, we like to resonate in that higher frequency of, anything that empowers, inspires, motivates, helps, heals, magic, selflessness, those extreme high vibrations. That's where we like to stay. But there's plenty of there is a vast spectrum of whatever you want to play with, and it's really up to the individual.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the problem. People are very curious, they're very, very intrigued. Channeling seems to be very popular right now. I'm going to put out some videos on channeling for, amateurs, novice, people that want to enter into that space. I'll create a space so that you can bring your notebook with questions. And basically, when you realize this video that I put out, the portal will already been created. So you're able to then bring your questions and you will receive the opening. And those spirit energies, your guides, will, through you as a conduit, give you the messages, the answers. You'll be able to write them down.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's just part of my, my training. We have a lot of ancient practices that go back thousands of years. So basically, there's nothing we can't craft up or create.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is. I mean, you kind of have to look at that channeling. I guess I kind of look at it like going to a restaurant and you're just like, oh, I want to order food. And if you say that, that could be anything. I could go get you a meal out of the garbage can and give it to you, and that's food. I could cook you a meal with the most love and creativity and flavor, and that could also be food. So you have to kind of go into it knowing what you want to do, or have a more of an idea. People just get very excited and they're like, I'm open, I want to feel everything. And it's like, you might want to be a little more specific, because again, if you went and just said, I want food, I mean, there is such a wide range of what that could be, that, just opening yourself up to feel anything, again, can land on the toxic spectrum, can land on the extremely high frequency spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, Jade makes a very good point. It's your experience is constructed in your reality.
Mm-hmm.
So I would probably, as a mentor to many, I would probably suggest, if you were doing this and you were super excited about wanting to do this and very curious, yet you were installed with huge amounts of fear, and then your request is to realize some lower vibrational energy, probably not a good idea. And that's just, again, I don't frame anything in the place of fear. That comes from your perception. Understand this, know this to be true. Your perception of your reality is the only truth that you need to be concerned with. On that note, when you operate like that,
Mm-hmm.
you are left open to limitations, because you could go, oh no, I'm fearless, and truly, when you are selfless, you become fearless. Fearless is just part of the equation, which is the ultimate, which is the field, which is the chi, which is the way, which is the oneness. And so when you operate in a duality, you have this curiosity. Your attention, intention activates an unconscious process that opens a doorway. Now that's for you to decide. But know this, it only is created from your belief system. And that's where people become apprehensive, because they get so fearful. There's nothing to be afraid of. The second you say something that you believe something is lower vibrational, you say, I don't want to experience this, that can be realized also.
Mm-hmm.
So many people become incapacitated, where they just can't. It's like a deer in a headlights type of thing. They go, oh, that's not what I wanted, but I don't know what to do about changing that. And that's the misconception. But, that can be realized. And understanding that you have direct source access and that you are always 0 point energy.
Yeah.
Always.
And I think it's a good starting point too. Like we always recommend people kind of channeling their own guardians and guides, because they're there to push you in the direction that you need to be pushed in. They're already there, whether it's like a loved one maybe that's passed, or it's, you know, a pet, or something that you feel very connected to already. That's, you kind of know it's like on your team. You know what I mean? You kind of know, like, hey, this is my family a little bit. I know they have my back already. I'm not, you know, just playing with a Ouija board on the weekend.
Yeah, and then, you know, I was just watching someone on a podcast, and he's quite a well-known. I don't really actually, I forgot his name, but he's very familiar. I see him around a lot. Very well known for energy healing, and he was asked, well, what do you do when you feel low, or, you know, your energy is low and you need to top up or whatever? And I really felt like that was a trick question. You know, like when you do go to the DMV and they ask you a really dumb question, like, there's a person walking in front of you, do you drive over them? And option A or B, yes or no? I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Accelerate or put my brakes on? So when someone asks you a question like that, and this guy is really well known, like, I was kind of like shocked. Works for a huge platform, one of the biggest platforms. And his answer was, when I start to feel irritable, I'm feeling low, I take time to recharge. Now, I want to give everyone all the angles of how wrong that is, right? Because if you are an alternative healer of any kind, acupuncture, you know, energy work, massage, you know, therapy, psychologist, behavioral psychologist, parapsychologist, whatever it is, it all starts. I feel like I'm just like, gotta just scratch a little bit. It's scratching time. It all starts and ends with you. So, if you know, the biggest fault that is created by massage therapists, it happens all the time. They create this. They fall into this heap where literally, you know, it's, oh man, I can't take any more people. I'm just exhausted. You know, they're so draining. They're this, they're that, they're something else. This is your perception of your reality, right? About 30 years ago or more, when I started in this space of energy, frequency, vibration, I learned this almost instantly. You can switch on or off anything you want when you want. So what I would advise anyone starting in this space is to realize that you come into this world with a constitution, a baseline. That's why we're so powerful as Taoists. That's why Taoists are sought after for the ancient practices, because we specialize in internal alchemy, the power of that. So a Taoist is always coming in with a baseline, their constitution. Let's just say out of 100%, you come in about 80. The beautiful part is you're born into this world at 80. But you're given all the tools to create the internal alchemy when you level up to 100, to 200, to 500, to 1,000. And then once you've reinforced that and infused that into this physical body, and then you start to become the maestro of those 50 trillion cells, turning it on and off gene expression, using a thought, feeling, and emotion, creating that kinesthetic charge, that rippling effect through the blood that is the messenger that creates the realization of a wave to matter to particle cluster of complete profound realization. You are the field. That is how powerful you are. And once you attune yourself to that 5D reality, which is pure consciousness, there is zero reason why you're even operating in the duality and idea that you are exhausted from somebody who in our space would be considered what they call a psychic vampire. So you're initially, what will find you is what you gravitate to, what you demand, what your magnet draws to you, because it starts with your belief system and it ends with, if you are fearful, fear will find you. And so if you operate in that construct and you don't realize I am you, you are me, you are going to feel very limited, because as pure chi, as the field, as the Wu Ji, you're abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite, the truth to everything. So there's zero, for you to assume that you're going to have limited gas in the tank is incorrect. Mm-hmm. Incorrect, because, the universe is abundant, timeless, endless, limitless, infinite. And the truth to that is we tap into 0 point energy, baby, which is the chi, right? The field, the plasma, the Planck field, the quantum, the matrix, the Allah, the universe, the Jehovah, the whatever, the Buddha, the God. It's all things, baby. And when you come to that realization, you're not tapping into a very limited part of what you perceive as real, this holograph that is your physical body, this flesh and blood. You're tapping into pure source. And so this is the misconception. But I will be very honest with you. If you're operating in a duality, that will be realized. That will be realized, and you will be drained. You'll be a massage therapist, and you have to understand, you gravitate to what you create, what you believe, what you desire, what you know to be true. That's why your truth is the only truth you need to be concerned with. So you are the barometer when things are realized, thought, feeling, and emotion, rippling out the consciousness. Guess what happens? It's instantaneous, baby. It meets with something equal to or greater than. That's how it works. And so if you believe you're limited, if you are afraid of something, that something will find you. And even if you layer it with what you believe is a level of protection, this is your story. This is your reality. This is how you operate. And it's for you to discern what that is.
Yeah, it's funny. It was like I heard a YouTuber the other day, and they were like a entrepreneur, and he was like, there's only 24 hours in the day, so I have to optimize all of that time. And I kind of thought about it, and I thought it was kind of funny. And it was like the idea of like a vampire. They're infinite. They live forever. They're immortal. So it's like a vampire doesn't measure things by, there's only 24 hours in the day. They couldn't care less. You know what I mean? It's like, and that kind of mindset or parallel, that it's like when you start looking at your life as you're an immortal having a human being experience, and you have infinite time. It is infinite. It is timeless. It is abundant. It is limitless. You start kind of changing your mindset, and you're not confined by this, like, I only have so much time in a day. You're like, have all the time in the world. This is, so even just changing that kind of perspective or perception on how you view something like time, and how you limit yourself with that or unlimit yourself with that is such a powerful kind of rewire of your consciousness and level up for it.
Mm-hmm. And so that is how you enter the realm of channeling. And that pure source information will be realized instantaneously. But the old expression, be careful what you wish for. So that's something that I've had to contend with for a long time, is dealing with people that, they're in for a pinch, out for a pound, in for a pound, out for anyway. You know the expression. And so there's another expression that comes with this. It's called fake it till you make it. And so many people desire this access point. Now, for my realization, when it I've been a prolific channeler for over 30 years consciously. And, I can, like I said, I get people knocking on my door all day, every day. And there's, you choose what level it gets to, but I can channel spirit and energies that operate in the same space I'm in, but they don't have to be through my physical body. Now, that's another skill set that's acquired as you master yourself. So a lot of people are afraid because, if I'm a channeler, I'm a medium, or I'm a psychic, that it has to come through me. You're all consciousness, dude. When you realize that, and my consciousness has also been created from the level of my perception, my sensory perception, has leveled up. I almost leveled up almost instantaneously. So I can have a spirit entity and energy in the same space as me, and it's as tangible and palpable as jade here, but it doesn't have to enter my vessel, my physical body. I save that for specific interpretations. Like recently when I did a channel on Bruce Lee, he came to me. He didn't have to enter my physical body. I received his message, had a conversation with him. It's as if he's sitting over here, I'm here, and we're good. But a lot of people get kind of confused where they believe that's the only option. And that's the misconception, right? So be aware that there are options and you craft your skill. I would say the most important thing is finding someone that can give you the framework and understanding of these mechanics. It's a mastery like anything. It's your sensory perception.
And someone, I think, who also does it. I think there is a little bit of a difference, especially in this kind of realm of I researched and wrote a book about it versus I apply it every single day. I do it every day. I experience it every day.
Right. And that's something that I do better than anyone. That's my bag, baby. Energy, frequency, vibration. I am the Pied Piper of channeling. So, that's the biggest thing. Don't fake it till you make it. Don't get caught in the trap of your ego creating some type of which is basically your personality, creating some setup where you're haunted by your own construct. Which is, if you're coming into this with a fear-based reality, I would ask you to pause and start reworking how you perceive your reality. Start mastering those skills so that you're in a state where you're the master keeper creator of your reality. You're able to tell your emotions to sit like the animal that they are and stay. Because your emotions don't control you, you control your emotions. When you come to that realization, profound things take place. It's really that simple. So understanding that kind of choice is quite simple. Now, if you're working on mastering that, just so happens you're in the right place. I have an incredible product called the Way 126 Experience that through an visual audible experience creates a kinesthetic response, instantly realizing you are chi, you are field, you are universe, you are Tao, you are plasma, you are one. And with that, that heightened sense evokes the gamma frequency, hyper gamma, and you're running it over 40 cc's, baby. 40 cycles. And so that hertz frequency is where magic happens. You're able to realize gamma operate in alpha and theta all at once as everything is all encompassing. There's not a limited amount of brainwave activity. It's realized through the whole brain, because this is the projector, baby. All the information comes from the truth teller. And so you use something like the Way 126, you're going to become very familiar very quickly, about how powerful you are. Mm-hmm. And so that baseline gets the emotions under control, so that then if you want to make decisions where you're still inspired to want to create this type of stuff and do this type of stuff, you're in a better spot. I would honestly recommend, this is a day and age of get yourself a coach. You want a life coach. You want a business coach. This is one department I would highly recommend you get a coach on.
Yeah.
And then you can master real fast. That's the thing. I've been a Taoist priest over 30 years. I'll master you anything on energetics, metaphysical, internal alchemy, all things Taoism. We are all things energy, frequency, vibration. We do it better than anybody. I've even talked about in the last podcast, all the emperors that have reigned over China, and there's been 7 or 8 generations of them, outside of all of the realized incredible emperors, even before the ones that they're logged in, Jade Emperor, Yellow Emperor, and we can keep going on. There's, oh my goodness, there's the Orange, I don't even want, whoa, holy moly, there's the Orange Emperor, the Red Emperor, anyway, let's just put it at this. They always had their advisor. And just so you know, just in case you didn't get the memo, it was always a Taoist master, because we do it better than anybody. And if you didn't realize who's someone who's more iconic in the last 100 years, who was completely obsessed with internal alchemy, was Bruce Lee. And guess who he was working with? A Taoist master. Because there ain't nobody that does energy like Taoists. And, we have refined, battle-tested through and through rituals that have been handed down from generation to generation for thousands of years. So when you ride the wave of any sort of like infrastructure, architecture of this type of stuff that we hand out, it's instant. Mm-hmm. It's instantly realized for you as you apply it under a guide of giving you what's necessary for you to generate that. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think it's very similar to like somebody working out for the first time. They say, hey, I want to run a marathon. I'm 350 pounds. I've never been to a gym before. I've never lifted a weight. And I want to run a marathon like tomorrow. Anyone could kind of look at that situation and go, I think there's a little bit more that you have to do, because you're setting yourself up for failure or, disappointment. So let's get you to where you need to be at that baseline where we know you're already kind of set up for success. And it's like you put that work in, I shouldn't even say work, you put that time, energy, whatever you need in to get where you want to go, do your goal that you want to do, improve where you want to be. And then you can go, hey, I've been doing this and I've lost 100 pounds. I can now at least run 30 miles, whatever it is. And I'm at a space where, okay, now let me go. A marathon is perfectly doable. I'm going to do that. I'm going to achieve it. I'm going to be successful at it. And then you have someone who might come in and goes, I want to run a marathon tomorrow. I've been training for the last 10 years. I work out. I have, I'm pretty healthy. I have this, I have that. I already kind of have the foundation, but now I'm ready to take it to the next level. That's great as well. Whatever it is, it's all set up for success. And knowing kind of where you're at in your own consciousness, in your own perception, in your own baseline is very similar to that type of thing.
Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at it from the understanding of a start and finish, as this is our department of excellence, I would suggest, if you're asking someone who's been doing this a long time, that you find yourself that coach, because the transition into your new realization will be effortless. If you're just sort of like floating around attempting to find your ground, it could be a bumpy landing.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And it's only starting and finishing when you understand that you are basically working from a duality.
Right.
If you truly have an understanding. And so one of the parts of the Way 126, and it's all-encompassing, and it completely realizes, so it encompasses the whole brain with that gamma frequency. That's second to none. So all parts, it's like all systems are go. There is no separation. It just fuses as one, which makes it so powerful. That realization becomes 5D reality. 5D reality becomes a pliable experience within this 3D reality. And that's where creativity is so powerful. Understanding that creativity, it's critical.
Yeah.
And so you can realize that and identify that with just your basic everyday experiences. And so you get that charge, and we've spoken on it before, how to identify where the ebb and flow is in the universe to find that peak where someone has already entered that portal. And so we can talk about fractals, we can talk about things where everything is in a cycle within the universe. The realization is when you create that fractal perception, they're talking about a cycle. So most people, would operate in the duality going, well, with good there's bad, and every 7 years you got bad luck, and this would also lean on the premise of a fractal process. But understand this, you can inject into that pattern and change it. Well, Sifu, what are you talking about? What? You can change it? Yeah. I'll tell you how. You are getting into a situation where operating and altering the space. So how would you instantly realize a shift and change in a pattern and behavior that will be a manifestation magic healing? I don't know, Sifu. What? Well, instead of sitting around waiting for another pattern to be created that you have generated, you're able to generate it now. And so what's the leading effect into the realization is thought, feeling, and emotion. Positive thought, feeling, and emotion. Truth teller, energy, frequency, vibration, realized, wave, matter, particle, cluster, instantly evoking 5D reality that is your consciousness. What does that do? Has a rippling effect. Instantly manifestation, instantly magic, instantly healing. So you want to change your pattern and behavior. You do it once, you do it 2 times, you do it 3 times, a lady. And so all of a sudden, have you ever heard the old expression, like attracts like? Magnetism, baby. That magnet, that truth teller draws it to you. So it happens again, so it becomes amplified. So it happens again, it becomes even more amplified. It happens again, it becomes even more amplified. And that's why we always tell people to take the 72-hour challenge, accept and allow, because you stumble across one more realization after another that manifests into a reality where all things are perfect. And so within 24 to 48 hours of starting that challenge, you just start scratching your head going, was I that dramatic? Was my life just one big drama? Because right now I'm getting nothing but effortless action, a wu wei, which is the flow, baby. That's what happens. You get the flow. And when you get the flow, what's the deal? What do you, it becomes drama-free. When you're drama-free, the effort to realize something, and of course what happens is time and space is collapsed. It's null and void. I mean, these are just mechanisms of realm of man to control the actual or measure what we are experiencing. But you'll find that your life becomes so effortless, you can't, you think it's Monday and it's actually Friday. That's a good life. When you are counting the seconds and the minutes, misery is us. Welcome to the club. That's what the difference is. And so that cycle can be realized instantaneously. The power of you accessing these frequencies, energies, vibrations are instantaneous. That can be realized instantly. Always remember that you are operating from that duality or not. There's always an option. But that has to be validated by your perception of your reality. And that can be very clear. Because if I go, boo, and you jump right now, then we probably should work a little, change your perception just a tiny bit, because there's still a few things that are seated or unseated, that need to be unseated, that are seated. Is anything possible? Absolutely. Pure magic. Straight up. That's a realization. So, with that said, talking more about that deception, fake it till you make it, and how Jade's described that, and that understanding, realizing the power of what we're talking about, attention, intention, and altering that instantaneously. And, there's no second guessing when you have created the architecture to channel. There's no in between. That cycle, that Hertz cycle that goes 40 up, like when I'm channeling, I'm doing 100, 200 plus, baby. I'm sweating like and that's just the juice. Now, like I said, there's a separation between that. You can channel, you can also realize and communicate with spirit entities that do not have to enter your physical body. Mm-hmm. And so that's another identifier that comes with your clairsense perception, sensory perception, clairsensory perception, and that you can refine it any way you want because you're in control of the dashboard. That's where your manifestation, magic, healing, and how you operate in this realm is realized, because you can dictate the inner workings of your perception. And that's why when we say you're born into this world with 5 senses, that's a beginning. It goes 5, 9, 27, 108. It's never ending, your sensory perception, which gives you the abilities to really craft your skill and finite. Craft the skill. That's the power of it.
Yeah, and I think all the channelers we've kind of met, or even like different mediums or something, they all get messages in their own way. Some do it more through like scribbles or like drawing or writing or pictures. They say, when I get this image, it represents this. Some get it super just audible, where they almost start to sound like the person who they're channeling, whether it's like an accent or just the verbiage. So it's really up to the individual and what they've mastered and kind of their way that they get the information and it gets transferred through.
Mm-hmm. So this is like a starting point for you, the audience. We'll do a little exercise today. I'll draw in a portal frequency that can be realized by you at home in the audience. And all you need to do, so at this point you can either pause the video, go and get yourself a notebook or questions you want answered by your guides. And for anyone that wants to enter this portal, which I'm going to draw up, you will be realized within your space when you're watching this video at any moment. This is the power of energy. It's infused into a digital format instantaneously. Well, you don't have to wait around till, the next time I make a video. No, it's infused in this video. The portal is realized in this video, and you can access it the second I draw it up. And you can basically create this space. So to make it real simple for people that are sort of operating up and down, in and out, they're sort of a little confused. They haven't completely committed, but they're very curious. You can get your list of questions. I'm going to draw this portal up. You can then step into it, and you'll instantly realize information. And so part of what I've been doing for decades is mastered skills like this, dipping into the metaphysics at a level of consciousness that realizes things instantaneously. That's why it's so accessible, so palpable, so powerful, and you're able to realize it here at home. Now, you may very well not need a list. You just have one question. This is the only caveat that I would suggest to anyone that's experiencing this, is that it will be instant. So you're going to have a rippling effect from this particular experience. When I draw the portal up, you can stand in it, sit in it, however you choose. And the messaging will be very clear. They're very clear in telling me that it will come through your mind. You'll have a thought. Some may have audible. Most will have a thought that will be a very clear yes or no, which is a good start. It's a good start. Now, just to make it easier for most people that are freaking out, that just say, there's only one God. What we'll do is you'll hear this first. I'll layer an incantation before the portal is sealed. So what does that mean, Sifu? Well, I'm going to draw and open up this portal, and it will be sealed with an incantation, making it the most highest frequency of sacred space. So for people that are operating and they're a little confused, or perhaps maybe I'm not sure whether, am I in a duality or not? Instead of having you shoot yourself in the foot metaphorically, I'm going to layer it out so there's no confusion, and then you can just experience it and take from the information what you want. Once you do that and you get your eyebrows blown off, come back, leave a message under this video describing your experience, and of course hit subscribe. That would be great, and a thumbs up. It's good for the algorithm. So I think that's kind of like what's most important about hanging out with Jade and I, is we bring the heat, baby. We bring it. And that's where you are able to realize this stuff big time. And so I think that's a pretty well explained, because everyone gets all excited about it. And my personal realization, having done this for so many decades, it is really the most profound thing for everybody to get direct source information. And this is no exception. You need to be the source, and this truth teller will give it to you. And so this will be a very simple channeling 101. When I'm going to draw the portal up, it's going to be realized within this experience, and that whoever comes across it and is up to this point of the video, it will be materialized and realized within your space. You'll be able to sample it, and you'll be able to get information, direct source from your highest guides. Let me repeat this, from your highest guides. And as you continue in your journey, as you level up in your consciousness, ascension, whatever you want to call it, your guides will come in and out as they continue to refine the clear sense that is being perceived by your sensory perception. And it's like kind of going up the food chain to a higher vibration. You're getting just more finer quality source of information instantly. And that's kind of cool.
Yeah, you're getting like your dream team.
Yeah.
You're like the top of the top of the top of the Olympic highest world records dream team. That's your team. And it just keeps, the more you level up, the more they level up, and you keep getting that, the cream of the crop, if you want to call it.
Right. I mean, just like Jade said, what you want to do is sort of be clear on what you want. So simple question like, oh, am I going to get married? Am I going to find my lover? Am I going to find a new house? Am I going to get a new job? You could even ask questions like, how many guides and guardians and angels do I have? And, this is really good information. Yeah. And you can go as far as going, reveal yourself. Now, that's a big step, but it's completely within the imprinting of this frequency, energy, vibration. You're going to get a level up from that. So that is part of an incantation that you're able to drop into that experience. Yeah, I think we kind of went over a lot. Did you have any sort of closing thoughts, feelings, or emotions that you wanted to share with the audience?
Yeah, and I think it's always something to be excited about because most people have already experienced it in one shape or another, whether it's a sign or I got pushed in this direction or, oh, I'm so happy I made the right decision. I knew it was the right decision. And, there is that excitement that comes with it. And this is just a little bit more of a refinement and a experience that you can have without that kind of questioning or wondering,
Well, yeah, it's a lot more than a refinement. I mean, you're not going to find this anywhere else. I've seen a lot of videos on, YouTube. Oh, I channeled this. I was dead for 40 minutes. I came back. I know what death and life and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm giving you an opportunity to experience what you already know is true. If this is heaven on earth, you are ascending to the source of heaven on earth. And so when you get access to that information, wow, all bets are off. So there's no caveat. This is not a place of fear. You will hear my incantation very clearly that will lay the framework of this particular portal that will be realized the instant you get up to this part of the video. So you're able to experience it firsthand.
Now, can I ask a question?
No.
If someone...
No. No.
If someone watches this video, it's like that Dr. Evil one,
Yeah.
I know. If someone watches this video and has a question and then say 2 weeks later gets put in a situation where they're feeling conflicted, do I do this? Do I do that? What, I need some direction. Can they rewatch
Of course I can.
the video?
It's imprinted
with a different,
indefinitely.
Yeah, with a different
it's
question or message and
Yeah.
still receive that.
Yeah, it's indefinite.
Beautiful.
Now we're going to go into greater detail. I'm going to take you through an experience outside of this video, but this will give any novice, anyone who's curious, a sample to be realized instantaneously, so that they can get wet their whistle and get a baseline of where they want to go.
Mm-hmm.
And just so happens you're a friend in need. Well, I'm a friend indeed, and Taoist Master San Qing is your friend.
You're my friend.
That's right, friend. So, did you have any other questions or anything you wanted to?
No, I think that's good. I think that's a good thing that somebody can take away from this. So, if you feel like, hey, I didn't ask something I wanted to or something, can I rewatch this and go through the process again?
Yeah. So that gives you a better understanding. I mean, look, it's always the same thing. I start talking about it, and everything starts rumbling. Energy starts to pulsate and oscillate and all that good stuff. And so for this one, I'm going to draw the portal, and you will see me draw it in front of me. You will be realized by that as an audience member instantly. So if you're watching this, you'll be like, oh, well, Sifu drew it in front of him. And you're like, now, when you get to this point, be like, I'm going to experience the portal that Sifu just created. And trust me, just as you're experiencing a rev up, like you
Like
guys at home
off.
and a lift off right now, you will experience exactly that. So when you get to this point in the video, all you need to do is say, I want to experience Sifu's portal, and it's going to be realized. And you're starting to feel the percolating already.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to draw it in. I'm going to draw it in. I'm going to draw it in. I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to draw it in. And then... Okay. Now, just to seal this off, I'll leave it with an incantation. What is that incantation? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
The incantation is this. Nothing may pass through, enter, or reside in this space that is not of the highest divine word, will, light, love of the Tao. Yeah. Now, I mean, just because it was drawn in front of me, of course, we're all experiencing the heat running up your back, just a feeling as if you're in some, like, hair dryer blowing all over you. Yeah. It's a great place to be. And now this is a consciousness where you can sit in it and you can ask questions and you'll get direct source information. You can write it down, or you can first validate by the kinesthetic charge. This is how we use your, neurology to master the skills of a human being experience. That's the whole point. You have this physical body to generate that. So let's just ramp it up, ramp it up, ramp it up. Ramp it up. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so now you have this portal. You can now, at will, my goodness, the waves of heat is crazy.
I know.
That is nuts. Okay, so this portal has been drawn up and said it's not going anywhere. You can come back to use it at any point. Ask the questions. Realize it. You want to experience it at home. You're in the presence of it. You'll feel it ripple through your physical body. But then you go, I want to experience this portal Sifu drew up, and it will instantly, ripple through all the cells in your physical body, because that's how energy works, baby. And so this portal is now going to, and you're like, I want to bring in my guardians, guides, and angels. Oh, my goodness. And you can ask any of the questions you want, and you will be given those answers. And make it really simple. Yes or no is fine. That's a good start. A real basic yes or no. And it will come in the form of audible, it will come in the form of visual, or it will come in the form of audible and visual. It can come in many different forms, but let's make it as simplistic as possible. If you get a yes or no in your third eye, that's a great start. Eyes closed, it will be very, very clear. The words will come in. That's a great 101 way to start any sort of clear sense. Is a great realizer. It's hooking up more with your truth teller, and then the interconnection that is the universe, so you get pure source information. Let me ramp this up. Oh, my goodness. Let's go a little further. Oh my goodness. Just sit here, ladies and gentlemen and ladies, and let this, like sitting in a campfire, just letting the flames sort of burn, and you are just engulfed and enveloped with this incredible energy, frequency, vibration. Oh my goodness. There you go. That's right. Ramp it up a little bit. 2 times, 4 times, 6 times, 10 times. Oh, geez. Oh, yeah. So this is your time where you can go and ask questions, and they will be realized by your guardians, guides, and angels. And take that information. Oh, my goodness. Let that run. Give yourself a write down the notes. Leave your comments. Leave your thoughts and feelings under this video. If you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Leave the thumbs up. It's great for the algorithm. I'm going to sign off from my divine, delectable co-host Jade here, as she immerses herself in the frequencies that is the Tao. And as your humble servant and Sifu, Taoist Master San Qing, I'll see you in the next one, guys.